Hey, did you see the new Owl House episode?
What is an owl house?
Not so fast, Jimmy!
My name's Albert.
Do not engage with that new Owl House episode quite yet, as it hasn't been officially released to the public.
Leak? With chicken?
No, my dear boy. This special was leaked to the public. Leaks are when contents of a show, movie, or video game are exposed to the internet through non-official means. Credible spoilers, images, clips, and in some cases, full-length episodes. And that's no good. Why, you may ask? Great question, Johnny.
But I didn't say nothing.
There are numerous ways a studio can measure a success of a cartoon. Viewership on the channel, purchases of the episode through digital stores like iTunes or Amazon, streaming numbers on company-owned platforms, and the rare occasions of an official upload on YouTube or a DVD release. When something is leaked, consumers are prone to watch and spread this unofficially released material, harming not only the above metrics, but the likelihood of this property getting any future installments down the road, such as additional specials, spin-offs, or even books.
But what about the millions of posts on social media featuring beautiful fan art, eloquently worded essays, and just a general appreciation for the IP at large? Surely executives would recognize when a show has a massive, dedicated audience that vastly outweighs the amount of attention other shows on the network get, right?
Good one, Jerome. Leaks don't only affect the likelihood of a property getting more content in the future, but it harms the crew behind a show in a multitude of ways. On one hand, morale is certainly going to be impacted when the viewing experience they wanted to give to people has been unjustly stripped away. And on the other hand, it impacts those involved with a production who get residuals from airing and streaming. It's one thing to not pay the corporate overlords, but to impact a hard-working citizen, that's no good. It's not always possible to avoid leaks, so do your best and refrain from discussing any leaked material. Keep those spoilers to yourself. After all, don't spoil the endgame.
Yeah, so as you guys may have heard, the next special for the Owl House Season 3, For the Future, was unfortunately leaked last week. How? Well, apparently, a Disney employee, presumably by mistake, uploaded the special early onto iTunes Canada. Although it wasn't up there long, the damage was done, and the leak spread like wildfire. Dana Terrace responded to the situation, deleted the tweets as they were just a vent, but clarified that she still stands by them. And yeah, this is obviously a very messy situation. It's the second to last episode of the entire show, and it leaked a whole 2.5 weeks ahead of time, which is not a good look on Disney, especially when a lot of presumptions behind the show's cancellation aren't exactly portraying Disney in the best light. Not to mention, Disney hasn't even officially announced the episode at the time of recording. There hasn't been a single promo aside from their big 2023 promo, which doesn't give a date, and they haven't even shared the poster that Dana herself released. And look at this beautiful poster. Andy Garner Flexner popped off with this one. For shame, Disney. For shame. And it's hard to blame people for watching the leaks when, again, it leaked so early and there hasn't been an official announcement. Not everyone who's a fan of the Owl House is locked in like that. I know plenty of friends in real life who like the show, who keep up with it, but they didn't even know that things to them came out when it did and remained out of the loop until I saw them. If we're being realistic, despite there being plenty of fans of the Owl House on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, not every single fan dedicates their account and news feeds to the show. They have other interests that the algorithm caters to them, so they aren't gonna always know when a new episode comes out. Some people just see clips of an episode and assume, oh, this must have already aired on TV. And even then, the fans on social media are only a fraction of how many Owl House fans are really out there. And even though it kinda sucks to admit, a lot of fans pirate the show anyways. But it's not entirely their fault. The accessibility of these shows is rough, though it's gotten better at least in the US, but there are plenty of fans who don't live in the US. So again, if you see a brand new episode just out in the open, you may watch on impulse without even considering if it's been officially released. And imagine being a fan who didn't even know the show was coming back yet, because again, they haven't officially announced it, and you open social media just to find a brand new episode. Of course you're gonna watch it! And if you already pirate the show, you just may not care to wait to watch it. It's a messy, complicated situation. And although I do not agree with anyone talking about the episode publicly until it releases, I do think this idea of placing responsibility on the fans to not watch the episode prior to release can be a little goofy, but only because that was like Disney's job, and they failed. I don't think fans should be shamed if they did watch the episode because they don't want to risk being spoiled, or again, just didn't know it wasn't officially released. That being said, please don't discuss the episode until the 21st. I do think seeing people on Twitter just have a ball under the Owl House spoilers tag was wild, and I think that's gonna cause way more people to watch the leak rather than just acknowledging it exists. If you acknowledge it exists, you're at least warning people that it's out there, and at that point it's up to their own discretion. But when you're just flat out talking about the episode, you're not really giving people much of a choice, because again, they don't want to be spoiled. Now you know me, I believe that as soon as the episode airs, it's fair game. Y'all seen the breakdown thumbnails. I'm not gonna act like I'm above oversharing a little bit of info on an episode. I've been cursed out in the comments plenty of times before. All I'm saying is to wait until the episode airs before you share a single thing. So please support the official release when it does come out, whether or not you've been dodging spoilers or not. If you have cable, watch the episode on Disney Channel when it premieres. If they post it on YouTube, like thanks to them, watch it, even if you have to put on a VPN because you live in a different country. Buy the episode digitally. Stream the episode when it's eventually on Disney Plus. Whatever you gotta do. But I can already tell you that this episode is going to need that financial support. It may be the second to last episode, but Dana Terrace has already expressed that she wants to do more with the series, like a graphic novel. And that's gonna be harder to get if all three of these specials don't have a stellar performance. I've seen some people suggest that this could have been intentional sabotage, that someone at Disney does have it out for the Owl House, and after seeing thanks to them perform exceedingly well on YouTube, through again, official means, decided to have this special leak out in order to harm its performance when it does officially release, and more or less prove that thanks to them was a fluke. I have no comment on whether or not I think that's true, but again, it's not a good look for Disney. Leak culture in general is a problem with entertainment, but with animation, the Owl House isn't the only victim in this either. There's been a history of shows having really bad leaks. I mean, look at the Owl House's sister show, Amphibia. The season 2 finale, True Colors, leaked in a similar fashion through iTunes, after Disney delayed the episode at the last second because of the episode's intense cliffhanger. Now, this leak was a little bit more understandable. Again, Disney pulled this at the very last second, so there was always a likelihood that someone wouldn't get the memo. Steven Universe had a history of egregious leaks, with almost all of them coming through Cartoon Network's own server, because it used to have piss poor security. And back in those days when I was a dumb teenager, I was covering leaks. Again, I'm not above this, but I stopped once I began interacting with people who worked on the show and learned that behind closed doors, leaks really messed with their heads. As someone who barely understood how animation production worked at the time, I had no idea that leaks caused such a devastating impact, which is why I do empathize with people who consume leaks, who are probably the age I was back then. Because as the consumer, you don't see any of that. You only get the final product. Social media has made that communication a bit better, but it's also made it a bit more hostile. Again, do your best to support the official release. I feel terrible for the Owl House crew. If you've been avoiding spoilers, keep avoiding them. If you caved and watched, save your spoilers for the 21st. And again, be sure to support the official release. Personally, I'm gonna DVR the episode on Hulu Live, as that's how I've watched every episode of the Owl House. And I will be buying this special on iTunes officially. But as always, I want to know what you guys think. How do you feel about this special leaking? Did you learn anything new? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. And keep the conversation going by giving us a follow at Roundtable Vids and at AllSharkVox on Twitter and Instagram. If you enjoyed this video, please throw a like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a beautiful day. See ya!